Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Chinua Kimbaloye in Lagos. It's a Black Sunday as 7 persons in a military aircraft crash-landed this morning near the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Authorities say the jet crashed while returning to the Abuja airport after reporting engine failure on its way to Minna, the Niger State capital. We understand that the jet activity was about the security situation in Niger State following the abduction incident a few days ago. Our hearts and prayers are with the families, friends, and loved ones of those who have died on that plane today. Let's tell you that the Niger State government has secured the release of abducted passengers of the State Transport Authority. The 21 passengers were abducted last week in Kundu village near Zungeru in Rafi local government area of the state. And so our conversation tonight is going to be about the security situation in the country. But before we get into that and speaking to our first guest on the program tonight, let's tell you about, give you an update on the scenario which is playing out in Imo State. Precisely Owerri, the capital of the state. The controversy over a sealed property has degenerated in Owerri, the Imo State capital. The Imo State Police Command says it has invited the former governor of Imo State and senator representing Imo West Senatorial District, Rochas Okorocha, for questioning following his alleged involvement and forceful entry into a property that was confiscated by the Imo State government a few days ago. The police say that following a distress call that there was a commotion and violence at Royal Spring Palm Hotel located at Akachi Road in Owerri, a property allegedly linked to the wife of the former governor, Nkechi Okorocha, was confiscated only 2 days ago by the state government. And the story on the side of Senator Okorocha is that more than several thugs armed to the teeth, according to the statement to his aides, they were with knives and guns attacked the former governor. He said they attacked and damaged all the vehicles in his convoy and also attacked his personal aides. The police says that it has begun investigation into the matter to ascertain what really happened in the incident. There's some of the video, the images of what earlier transpired today between Senator Rochas Okorocha, the former governor of Imo State, over that seized property. And in that particular, in this image that you're seeing, soon you will see him being escorted into a police van. Just take a moment to watch that.
Let's go. Can you win in 2001? You know that? I'm the one.
When Senator Okorocha was escorted and being invited for questioning, according to the statement of the police. My colleague Juliana Olayinka spoke earlier on the telephone with Senator Okorocha. We'll let you to listen to his side because we understand now that he's in custody. We'll give you that later on the program. Yesterday, Southwest governors adopted the decision of the National Economic Council on forest ownership and management across the country, rising from a security meeting in the Oyo State Government House in Ibadan. The chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum and governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, to journalists that in line with NEC position, all the states should be in charge of their forest. They also agree that stronger measures should be taken to tighten security around border areas to stop the incursion of foreign herdsmen. About 2 days ago, or 2 days before the yesterday meeting, Nigerian Governors Forum met in Abuja, and they resolved that that the nation and the Nigerian governors are totally opposed to ethnic profiling of crimes in the country. The chairman of the Governors Forum and the governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, spoke after that meeting and is with us tonight on the program. Thank you so much, Governor Fayemi, for joining us tonight on the program. It's a pleasure having you on a day like this. And let me begin by getting your reaction to the military plane crash, the accident which happened earlier today. We understand that that plane was on a mission on the security situation in Niger State, where the Kagara students were abducted. Let me get your quick reaction on that, Governor.
Well, obviously, it was an unfortunate development, and my heart goes out to the families of those who have lost their lives. We had one of our own citizens in Ekiti State who lost his life, sadly, in the plane crash. And it's a very sad development. And these are people who have dedicated their lives to saving lives, only to find themselves in this unfortunate situation. But we pray that the families of the dead would have the courage and the fortitude to bear this loss, and our heart goes out to them.
So sad, a very sad incident indeed there. But Governor, let's begin the conversation on the insecurity situation in the country, especially from the meeting, the outcome of the meeting you had yesterday. The governors and the leaders of the Southwest agreed that the governors should take charge of the forest in each of their state. But there are, one we wonder, or lawyers have debated, that each state of the Federation or most states of the Federation have their own forestry laws. And it's been a problem of implementing this law. Has there been a problem with implementing these laws?
I don't think there's been a problem implementing the law, but what is clear is that we need to review our forest management framework. And we need to see our forest not just as a development, environmental vehicles, but also as a security vehicle as well. And that's precisely what the Nigerian Governors Forum agreed in the meeting on Wednesday, which translated to what the National Economic Council highlighted in the decision on Thursday, and which has basically just been adopted by the Southwest governors in their meeting yesterday.
Governor, another very critical question will be, from what has been said at the Nigerian Governors Forum and the meeting you had on Saturday in Ibadan, it does look like governors and leaders are saying that some of these killer herdsmen or these criminals are not Nigerians. Is there a position on the identity of these people?
Well, I suppose the reason why people are saying that is that those that are being accused of being responsible for some of these heinous crimes are of an ethnic coloration that have lived in these communities for hundreds of years. So it's very difficult for people, say for instance in Ekiti, who have lived several years with Fulani headsmen, or people from other parts of the country, Kogi farmers, Ibira farmers, or TV farmers, to believe that such elements will be responsible for violent actions on their land. So that's why I believe some also are looking for all the perspectives to explain what is going on in many parts of Nigeria. And there can be no doubt that we have elements from the Islamic group of West Africa, ISWA, that are proliferating all over Nigeria now. And there is no question that we also have the porosity of our borders to deal with. So it is not impossible that elements that are not Nigerian are involved in this, which is why the Governors Forum meeting, and the National Economic Council meeting also emphasized the importance of ensuring that ECOWAS protocols are comprehensively implemented with regards to its transhumance protocol and with regards to its protocol on free movement of goods and people across the various countries in the ECOWAS sub-region.
So, precisely, are we saying we do not know whether these elements are Nigerians or they are non-Nigerians? Because earlier on, a few days ago...
I don't want us to beat about the bush. Some people have been apprehended in this litany of kidnapping and banditry. And clearly, some of them are Nigerians. They're locals. There's no... Don't let's be coy about that. But there's also people who are not Nigerian, who speak languages that are not Nigerian, amongst those that have been apprehended and arrested from incidents of banditry and criminality. Whatever it is, I think what is important is that Nigerians across the length and breadth of our country, they want those apprehended for crime to be swiftly prosecuted, convicted if they're guilty, and brought to book. It is the seeming delay in ensuring access to justice for victims of crime that is exacerbating this tension, that is contributing to the feeling that some people consider themselves above the law, and we must do everything within our powers as state prosecuting authorities, because we also have powers at the state level to prosecute this, and federal prosecuting authorities to bring to book those who are responsible for crime. It's a no-brainer. If you are responsible for crime, you must be interdicted and you must be convicted if you are guilty.
So, Governor, was there an agreement? Because some of the governors that we've spoken to said, look, we must look into this issue of open grazing and how we need to stop it. Is there been an agreement on that decision or that policy?
Again, in our meeting, and I read the communique of that meeting, there was nothing controversial about this. All our governors agreed that we must pursue modern ways of livestock management, and that open grazing and other traditional practices are unsustainable. But in arguing and concluding that these are unsustainable and we must do away with it and embrace our National Livestock Transformation Plan, which includes the use of ranching and other grazing areas that are protected, we must also acknowledge the fact that this is not going to happen in one fell swoop. It's not going to happen overnight. We need to just have a deliberate process to ensuring that open grazing is phased out and modern livestock management practices are undertaken by states, and that we must support livestock farmers to do this. The way we support cassava growing farmers or rice growing farmers via Anchor Borrowers Program, we must support herders and those who want to engage in modern livestock management practices to do similar things. I mean, we have a livestock program in Ekiti State, for example. We have the Kunderi farm, and we're working in partnership with the private sector institution, Promacedo Nigeria Limited, producers of cowbell milk. And I know a number of other states also have similar initiatives that are springing up. We need to focus more on these rather than continue with these outdated, unsustainable open grazing practices.
So let's get it clear, Governor, because
the governor.
Yeah, oh, great. So since we're speaking to the leader of the governors, the chairman of the Governors Forum, we want to get a clarity here, because this is what has been causing the crisis anyways and the clashes between farmers and the herders. So in essence, the decision of the governors is that if we see herders who are moving, who are openly grazing across the farming community, it is illegal. Is it being criminalized now? Or where do we go from here? Is there certainty on that?
Sure, there's a process to criminalization of any practice. What we have said, there are states that have anti-open grazing laws where it's been criminalized. You have states like Bello, for example, where they have an explicit law on that. In such states, they haven't completely eliminated grazing even there. So you cannot just do this with immediate effect. Let's be realistic about it. We want to tackle a problem, but it is not just by criminalizing, but by providing other avenues to encourage those who are in that practice to do away with it. So there must be incentives, and that's why I say it's time to comprehensively implement the National Livestock Transformation Plan that governors have discussed extensively and agreed on. And it is time to ensure that we provide support for states. One of the things that we agreed at our meeting in Abuja on Wednesday night is that both financial and other supports will be provided for states to encourage them to go into ranching, to go into organized grazing programs that will now make the space available for livestock farmers, herders to utilize such space when they're made available. It's no use banning or criminalizing a process without providing alternative. It doesn't work like that in governance.
So what is the next step now? What are the next steps of action? We want these killings to stop. We want these clashes to stop. So what are the next steps of action?
I would like to think everybody wants this to stop. One, we have said that states should take greater control over their forest zones and ensure that those who have no business in the forest are removed from the forest. But don't forget, there are also communities that have been in this forest for such a long time. What we're discovering in our investigation is that sometimes there may be collusion between the communities that are local to some forests and the invaders that have become criminals utilizing the forest for their nefarious activity. So where it crosses the line from evidently legal and lawful practice and where they're not registered, then they should be out of the forest. But the important point is that we need to take charge of our forest. In many states, they don't even have forest rangers again. We used to have forest rangers when we were young that were effectively in control of forests. We are also aware that in some other countries, the military actually take responsibility for securing the forest. If you go to Cameroon or you go to Chad, you will see this. And indeed, the former chief of defense staff commissioned a study before he left, General Oloni Shaki, where he clearly stated that states need to do more to protect their forest. So that's one thing that we're all agreed on. Second point is that we clearly are opposed to open grazing, and we should do everything to support farmers to move away from open, unregulated grazing to ranches where their heads of cattle can be sedentary, and it would even produce more milk for us if that is what we're seeking out of this. 3, governors are opposed to ethnic profiling of crimes. We have criminals all over the country. Yes, there may be a preponderance of Fulani stuck in kidnapping and banditry that we've witnessed in many parts of the country. This does not suggest that all kidnappers are Fulani. We have Evans, and we know the story of Evans in Nigeria. The last time I checked, he's not a Fulani person. So I think it's absolutely important that we focus on the crime, not on the ethnicity of the criminal. Because what we need to do, the law is very clear about the processes of apprehending and prosecuting those who have committed crimes. And I don't think their ethnicity is a factor in the law. in any of the statutes in the country. And four, that we all need to ensure that we support our security institutions to become more coordinated in the interagency work, because the lack of synergy is also affecting us. Lack of synergy between our state actors, but also lack of synergies between our federal mainstream security institutions and the locally developed institutions that are beginning to emerge in the quest to protect citizens. Because primarily, the job of governors is to protect and secure their citizens.
All right.
And that is what is uppermost in the minds of most governors. There's no question that this is what has generated the interest why governors feel they have to lead this battle to ensure that Nigeria regains its security for its citizens.
All right, Governor, let's take a break now, our first break on the program, but we'll get your thoughts on what you're doing, especially in Ekiti, as an example in what you have stated tonight, and the role of Amotekun in the Southwest. Also, we'll be talking about the vaccines and COVID-19 and how the governors are handling this matter. Up next, stay with us, everyone. Our conversation is still on the security situation in the country and the question on whether or not to give bandits amnesty. After our conversation with Governor Fayemi, Governor Bello Matawale of Zamfara State is next to talk to us on these national important issues. Stay with us, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back. And let's get back to the conversation with the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and the governor of Ekiti State, Governor Kayode Fayemi, who has been speaking with us from Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital. Governor, give us a sense of some of the things that you've said. I mean, as the chairman of the Governors Forum, but as a governor of Ekiti State, practically speaking, how are you doing this in Ekiti State? We understand that there was a law before you came into office about this issue of open grazing and the involvement of local hunters. What is the role of Amotekun security outfit? Are they working? Have they been empowered by the Southwest governors in making sure that these killer herders are not on rampage any longer?
Well, Sheung, Amotekun is a state outfit. Yes, there is an encouragement on the part of governments to ensure that they share intelligence, particularly when there are cross-border issues. But as currently constituted by law, it is a state outfit with common values across the Southwest, at least in states that have already activated their own. Yes, there was a law before I came into office, an anti-open grazing law. The law still subsists, but we have ensured that we have built more of a robust stakeholder engagement between our headsmen and our farmers in Ekiti. And there's a regular meeting. It's not that we don't have the issues that are prevalent in other places, but we've consistently managed it, arranged compensations between those who have, if you like, destroyed the farms of the local farmers. And this compensation is regularly paid when it occurs. We are also ensuring that our Amotekun Corps works collaboratively with the police, the military, and the civil defense institutions in Ekiti State. That is why you may not have had a lot or about incidences like this, because we focus more on conflict management and conflict resolution here. And I think so far it's been effective. We've had our own difficulties within our forest, but we also monitor what is going on in our forest very, very closely in order to ensure that we don't witness the proliferation of elements that have no business in those forests. But it's a continuous work. And we're also focusing on the use of technology in order to ensure that we interdict people a lot more swiftly and bring them to book if they run foul of the law. And a number of people run foul of the law prosecuted by our Directorate of Public Prosecution in the state. So the state does have a latitude to do things. And I can assure you that the law enforcement agents in my state, they are not shirking their responsibility. They're working very closely with us. We have kidnapping cases. We have cases of destruction of farms. And we're daily managing these issues. But it's no use telling a farmer whose farm has been destroyed that he should be rational about it, or that somebody will come and give him support. It's loss of profit and loss of effort that he has put into that. So that creates disaffection. But we are daily trying to manage that disaffection as much as we can here in Ekiti.
So let's get to in our concluding moments now, Governor Fayemi. Let's spend another 1 minute or so talking about the COVID-19 and how the governors are managing it. And so I would like to speak with you as the governor of the chairman of the Governors Forum. What is the latest that you can tell us as regarding COVID-19 vaccines? I understand the last time the governors intervened and you were having a conversation on the national level on how Nigeria can get its own dose of vaccine. What is the latest from the governor's point of view?
Sean, we've spoken so regularly about this, and I don't think what Nigerians need from me is another speech about the vaccines until people see the vaccines and they have appointments to come and get their vaccines. There's very little we can tell them now that would be convincing in any way. But all I can say is that we're working with the Presidential Task Force. We're working with the COVAX initiative, which is the initiative by the WHO and Gavi and a number of other institutions, as well as the African Center for Disease Control, to enable Nigeria get as much vaccine as possible beginning from the end of this February. But we have to wait. We have to wait to see if we succeed with that. But that effort is ongoing. And I must really try and commend the Presidential Task Force, particularly those responsible for these negotiations, the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, the ministry, some of our multilateral partners, as well as the institutions I've mentioned, Gavi, WHO, African CDC. We just have to wait. I'm not happy that the vaccine are not here yet, at least the vaccines that are available to us for free, but we're making progress. I'm sure you heard over the last week that our own NAFDAC has approved the AstraZeneca vaccine for use in Nigeria. That's the first step. Our Food and Drug Agency must clear the vaccine, and then the vaccine must become available for use in the country.
Governor Fayemi, thank you so much indeed, because we understand the reason why I was asking for an update, but we understand that some states are also making their own initiative in getting the vaccine outside of what the national body is trying to do. Thank you so much indeed.
Well, that's correct. There are states that are doing that, but I don't want to go into those details. We are, as Nigerian Governors Forum, involved in what the national arrangement is about. But individual states are, of course, well within their prerogative to get vaccines for their citizens if they so choose. Even individual corporate entities. You've heard of CACOVID. CACOVID is also trying to get vaccine into Nigeria. So there must be this multiple efforts. And I'm aware that the vaccine may even have come into Nigeria for organizations that are privately owned that have chosen to get the vaccines for their own use, for the use of their staff and relatives.
Governor Kade Fayemi, chairman of the Governors Forum and the governor of Ekiti State, it's always a pleasure having to talk to you on the program, and thank you so much for creating time to speak with us.
Sharon, thank you very much for having me, and thank you, BO, as I told you.
Thank you. Let's get back to one of the stories we were telling you about the scenario playing out in Imo State, where in the capital, where there seems to be some controversy as regarding a seized asset by the state government involving the former governor and a sitting senator, Rochas Okorocha, who we understand may have been arrested or invited by the police. My colleague Juliana Olayinka spoke earlier on the telephone with the senator. We understand that it was at the time when he spoke with us in the police custody. Take a listen to some parts of that telephone conversation.
What happens is something I can't even imagine. I went to came back from an occasion, and I proceeded to the Royal Palm Hotel to see to acquire what actually happened. On getting to Royal Palm Hotel, I saw a lot of thugs. I didn't know they were waiting. So they started molesting, cutting my boys, shooting. But the police were there too. And the police did nothing and said nothing. And they started macheting. So my orderlies, I warned them nobody should shoot. So they rushed me to a room and locked me up. So those boys had tear gas. The police also were throwing tear gas. Everything. As they were advancing, the police were backing them up. And they were coming and were shooting. So I inquired the 6 government house police and asked, listen, is this with the directive of the IG or directive of the CP? Can the governor actually use government house police to do what he's doing? And then they kept me in a room for some time, but all my boys got injured. In fact, right now, my in-law was shot. His leg has been scattered.
That is the side of Governor Okorocha. But what the police has released in a statement today is that Senator Okorocha has been invited for questioning. An investigation has commenced on what really happened. The police said they moved in after they got a hint that there was some disagreement and pandemonium over the seized assets linked to the governor, former governor, and his wife. So let's get into the conversation with our next guest on the program tonight, and it's also about the issue of security in the country. I'm being joined on the program by the governor of Zamfara State, Governor Bello Matawale. He joins us from the capital. Thank you so much, Governor, for joining us tonight on the program. And I must say, it's been a very sad day for a lot of Nigerians owing to what happened earlier today, because we understand that the 7 people who died were on that aircraft over the insecurity situation in Niger State. But let's begin the conversation, because I know you are involved in one way or the other in trying to bring back those who were abducted. They just released people today in Niger State. We understand that they were found around the Zamfara corridor. The Kankara boys who were abducted in Katsina, we understand also were released around the Zamfara corridor. Give us a sense of the situation around. I know you and Zamfara State, you've experienced your own share of this banditry and these issues. What is the terrain like for a lot of people who do not know Zamfara State or the corridor around where these bandits operate? Give us a sense of what happens and how difficult that terrain is, or how easy is it for these bandits to be there?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shewan. As you said, you know, Zamfara terrain is a very huge land which covers a lot of states, including Kaduna, Niger, Katsina, Sokoto, including Niger Republic. But for more information, the major people were kidnapped from the major transport authority was not found through Zamfara, including even the student of Kagara are located around Benengwari in Kaduna State, which I believe very soon they will be back home. As you are aware, the security issue needs more commitment from all stakeholders. We have two major problems of insecurity in the north, which banditry and Boko Haram. The security operatives are doing their best, but we must all put our hand on deck to succeed. And another issue is that all the leaders who are stakeholders must come to terms with the challenges at hand and ensure, to speak with one voice. But the major problem, we as leaders, we should learn how to preach peace wherever we found ourselves, because Nigeria is one and we must be one. So to me, this issue of challenges that is available in the northern Nigeria is something that is very worrisome, which we have to be very careful with it, and we have to avoid, sentiment and political affiliation on it, because the federal government, particularly Mr. President, is doing his best to make sure that he provides all that needed for the security, to make sure that they protect the people's lives and their properties. But other people term this as a political war, which it is not like that. We have to, ensure that we as leaders we come together and make one decision and speak with one voice.
Governor, let's give you an opportunity to clarify what is being a major reaction to what is said. You were quoted to have said, not all bandits are criminals. Do you like to clarify what you mean there?
It's not what I said. I said not all Fulani are criminals. And it was there. Some people are, tagging all Fulani as criminals, which, I know not everybody is criminal. Because this issue of criminalities, we have it in all the tribals. So we cannot just say because an Igbo man or a Yoruba man or maybe some criminals in Igbo land or Yoruba land, so we tag all the Yoruba and Igbo as criminals. No, we agree there is criminals in Fulani, but not all of them that are criminals. Because if you check even the data and what is happening, out of 100%, maybe you find only 1% of criminals among Fulani. So not all Fulani are criminals. That's what I mean, and that is how it is. So people, will misquoting person, and some people are there waiting to see that they have damaged someone's integrity. But how can I admit that I am fighting these criminalities in my state? Because this is something that I inherited, which was happening in the first 8 years. Everybody is aware. Before, you cannot be able to travel in Zamfara state. Most of even the local government, even inter-local government, you cannot be able to go to another local government. But today, in all of the 14 local government is accessible. You can be able to go anywhere in the whole 14 local governments of the state. So this is what I am fighting all over. And, I cannot be able to even mention what people have been saying, because I know there is criminals among some of them, and some of them are not criminal. And I still maintain that not all Fulani are criminals.
So, you are one of those who are, there is what is now called the Zamfara template in handling this banditry matter. You have spoken about amnesty for bandits. What is your position in the manner in which these bandits should be handled? Are you saying that they should be granted amnesty, and what is the reason?
What you said, the Zamfara template. The Zamfara template is easily, is a focus on inviting various armed groups to subscribe to our non-kinetic approach of forgiveness, disarmament, demobilization, and integration of repentant bandits into the society. That's how it means. And we consider this peace process as the best approach as large numbers of those participating in various crimes of kidnapping animals, banditry, etc., were pushed into this by circumstances. Such reprisals and the lawlessness of self-acclaimed vigilante group. So our issue here is that we are not saying that, we all know there is the criminal out of them. And most of them, it was pushed by some acclaimed vigilante group, among others. So equally, we have another categories of the criminals who are purely criminals. And this group include armed robbers who took advantage of the situation and uncontrolled influx of sophisticated arms and weapons through our forest borders, which Zamfara bordering with Niger Republic. So our template, and we hope the security forces will apply connected on those kind of criminals, such as pollution them from our society. In summary, the Zamfara template is all about building a foundation upon which we hope the entire country will adopt as a sustainable means.
All right, we'll take another break on the program, Governor Matawale. But when we come back, we'll be asking you, because some people have debated that when you grant amnesty to these bandits or these criminals, it might actually encourage some of them, since they're going to get amnesty, they can go on and be doing these bad behaviors. But we get your view on ending banditry in the nation. Up next, suppressing the national tension in the country and this insecurity matter. How do we quench it? Further conversation with Governor Matawale of Zamfara State. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get back to the conversation with Governor Bello Matawale, Governor of Zamfara State. He's been talking to us from Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State, over the insecurity situation in the country. Governor, let me do a follow-up on what you said earlier about the Zamfara template and the manner in which you approach the issue of amnesty. So, a lot of people have debated some of the school of thought that when you grant amnesty to these criminal elements, you are pampering them, and that it will encourage them to go about this kind of criminality. What do you say to that to that school of thought?
No, it is not true, because you see, based on our template, we have recorded tremendous successes in this. As at today, the president is not only calm, but we have opened up a livelihood for our people, as they have now gone back to farming businesses and normal life. And we have also secured the release of over 1,000 captives without paying any ransom. We equally received over 300 sophisticated weapons surrendered by the repentant bandit and their gang leaders, and including Awalun Daudawa, who recently abducted the student of Government Science Secondary School Kankara in Katsina State. We believe it is the best alternative to the present security situation facing our country, Nigeria. Therefore, you cannot, everybody has his own opinion, but to me as a leader, I cannot fold my arms seeing my people being killed every day. I have to initiate anything that I know my people can be able to sleep with their boss eye closed. So that is what I'm supposed to do. So that's why I have to initiate that dialogue with these people. And I believe by the time all governors come together and we agreed for doing so, we can be able to secure our country.
So, Governor, what did you give? What did you give in exchange for the amnesty?
You see, it's not something to give. I have been saying, because I don't support giving money or anything like that. What we're supposed to do, they have their own problem, which they have mentioned to us. They are lacking some social amenities, which include schools, hospital, veterinary, and grazing area, which I established the construction of Ruga, which I initiated during my administration. And I believe you are corresponding with there by seeing what we have done and put in place, which we can be able to give this plan so that they can stay in one place. My reason for doing so is we have to do everything possible to contain this plan in one place. We have to make sure that we shouldn't allow them, migrating from one place to another. By the time we put them in one place, we contain them in one place so that we give them all they need, like school, because you see, most of them are trekking from Zamfara up to Oyo, Lagos, and other part of the country. And I decided to make that settlement for them so that they can be able to stay back home, so that they can, maintain themselves, and the government would provide all social amenities for them that can put them in one place. So I'm not giving them anything.
Okay, so you are not one who support negotiation, but was there any kind of, in the negotiation process for the Kankara boys, can you tell us if there was any kind of payment or any kind of money exchanged for the release of any of these abductees?
Sean, I have said it earlier, nothing been fed to them. And even the person who masterminded that kidnapping, Awalu Dauda, he lived in one of the local government in Zamfara State under Zulmi local government. After the process of releasing those students, and he pleaded to the security agency that he regretted his action, and he now wants to repent and come back to the city so that he can start his livelihood, and he wants to go back to Arabic school so that he can learn Holy Quran, and he wants to go back to school so that he can go for a Western education. Presently, Awalun Daudawa, he was in the State, and the security, looking after him, and he is completely a changed person, and he decided not to go back to the bush again, him and his followers. In fact, we are trying to get them skill acquisitions that they should learn how to do something that they can be able to help their lives. That is what we are doing. Because if you are giving them money, they can use the same money to go and acquire another weapons, which I believe we cannot be able to do so. So I'm calling for anyone now. These people, they can listen and you can discuss with them. So being that they can listen, had it been that these guys cannot be able to listen to their leaders or their parents, all of these people, most of their parents are within their communities. So what we normally do is that we ask who are their parents, who are the fathers of our daughter, who is parents. So eventually we talk to their parents and they will talk to them. And even sometimes the parents too, they are tired of what their children is doing, just that they have nothing to do. And it was, as I said, it's circumstances that lead them to do so. So to me, in Zamfara State, our approach is not about giving money or giving anything. It's to show them what to do, is to show them how to live in peace and to get them something doing so that they can live their activities.
All right, quickly, just about one or two questions on the issue of security before I go into politics before we round up. When you met the president, did you present the Zamfara template as it's being called now? And what was his response?
Yeah, he is aware about our template, and Mr. President knows what we are doing, and I do brief him whatever happens. I do go and brief him on my actions, and as I said, this is something of a community problem, which if all of us understand how it is, we can be able to settle it without, making noise or whatever. Because, as I said before, the party cannot be able to go from one local government to another, but today you can be able to go anywhere of the 14 local government. So it's a community problem, which what the Prague government is chip into it, and the security personnel chip into it, we succeeded, and we have a lot of successes reported in the president. So Mr. President is aware, and he, in fact, when I went to him last 3 days, he talked to Inspector General of Police to give us additional special forces, which already the special forces in the president. So we are using kinetic and non-kinetic in our approach. So those that repented, fine, we can work with them. But those that refuse to repent, we go after them, and we do what is right. So we are not just in one aspect of it. We are doing both kinetic and non-kinetic. That's it.
Okay, so Governor, just in 30 seconds, let's round up on this issue of security. For some of your colleagues have said state policing is a way to go. I want to get your view on that. Some of your colleagues have also said they are not totally in charge of security situation, as governors are popularly called the chief security officer. In fact, a governor told us that he's just a chief logistic officer. Is that the case in your own matter in Zamfara?
Well, we do not subscribe to state police for now. We believe the community policing, the police under the police force can go a long way on helping us addressing our security challenges. In fact, we in Zamfara State have gone a long way in addressing this issue. We have so far introduced this policy and are now recruiting young Zamfaran. So far, we have trained about 3,200 of this youth at Kaduna and Sokoto Police College. We will train more. We want to train like 7,500. So if we are, if we are talking on state police, it's something gradual. Let us see how this community policing going to be performed. I think we shouldn't rush into it, because by creating state police, sometimes it will be a problem to all of us and to some of our people that, yes.
All right, let's round up on a political note now. We've seen the coming back together of your political opponents in Zamfara State. We saw how the election went in 2019. Now, former Governor Yari and Senator Marafa have reconciled and coming together. And so political analysts are saying that it's going to be a tough one for you, because two of your major opponents, we understand that you're also friends with Senator Marafa. Is that a threat for the PDP and your administration, in your politically speaking, in Zamfara?
Well, I'm a PDP governor. What you are asking has to do with another party. So they were together in the same party when God has given me this opportunity, when God gave me this seat. So as a chief executive, certainly they are coming together, now and again can never be a threat to our party. They are all my friends, therefore I wish them well. I have nothing much to comment about that, because they are in their own, and even when God has given me this seat, Marafa, they are all in APC, not in PDP, and most of the Marafa boys, all of them, there's no time, they say they are in PDP, they are all in APC, so it's a game, which we are going to play the game, that's right, so no problem with that.
Governor Bello Matawale, Governor of Zamfara State, thank you so much for your thoughts tonight, and thank you for creating time to speak with us.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Well, that's our show for tonight. Our hearts goes out to those who've lost their lives and their families of the loved ones in that military plane crash earlier today in Abuja. May their soul rest in peace. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Shion Kimale. Bye-bye.